Hey friends, hope you're all doing awesome. I just wanted to post, and I realize this is like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days late, but it's okay. That's the schedule on this channel. And, everybody has something to say regardless of how early or late. But people do ask me stuff like this, so I figured I would just post, even though, yeah, it's a little bit late. My thoughts on the fusion, whether or not I'm doing it. Um, I'm pretty averse to fusions in general. I don't like doing them. They always involve summoning events, which is kind of like if you don't spend money, you really have to pick and choose which one of those are doing because you can't they run these all back to back to back to back to back. So if you do them all, inevitably you run out of things to summon. So definitely, free to play, you have to pick and choose very carefully the ones that you actually do. And then the whole process for me, it's not even so much the resources because I think, once your account's, far along, champ training, all the dungeons, they're not a huge deal. You can dig into your gems or, whatever you've got stockpiled for energy. So it's not so much that, but yeah, I just find them overall time consuming, a little grindy, and then the summoning is definitely a barrier for me. So that's just my, opinion, fusions in general. But this one, for me, it was definitely a super easy skip. Timit the Fool, just looking at his kit, I mean, it's like fear based, right? Um, so you do have this ability, which is a good ability, right? Attacks all enemies, decreases the duration of enemy buffs by 3 turns, which, I mean, theoretically, that should basically just completely wipe out their buffs. Hopefully. So that's definitely a good ability. But then there's like, he has increased accuracy, which in my opinion isn't really a super strong buff. It's like they keep acting like they're gonna add something where you really need a ton of accuracy, but there really isn't yet. So I don't feel like this is super super necessary yet. And then also fear is just, to me, I mean, fear is just a weak form of, it's just a weak debuff of crowd control in the game. Like, it's completely RNG, and it's raid. We hate RNG. Our RNG is so bad in this game. So like, if you've ever used like these characters that sort of rely on RNG, it's frustrating when it doesn't go your way. And so you've got this entire kit essentially based on RNG, and to me, that's not good. And clearly, like looking at it, fear, that's a PvP debuff, which has never been an area of the game that I focus, and it never will because it's so spending heavy, right? So I mean, looking at it, like, he could totally help you in wave content, Doom Tower or something maybe, but, like, for me, I've beaten all Doom Towers on hard already. Like I said, I'm not an arena person, so for me, I personally don't see the use on my account. Um, and then, he's got other stuff too, so, like, like we talked about, fear is just, for me, fear is just bad. Like, if you've ever used, like, um, just these characters that are based on RNG, like, if you've ever used Mortu Macabre or something, not that he has fear, but just talking about the RNG in general, like, sometimes they might hit you like 20 times and you don't get a peril, and that feels terrible, and it's not something I want to rely on, when I really need it. So, like, if you're looking for crowd control, there's far more reliable, there's stuns and provokes and just far more reliable things. Like, this is kind of cool. Whenever an enemy skill successfully activates while they're under fear or true fear, you've got a turn meter fill, you'll place a provoke, so, like, you're crowd controlling them further. But if you look, it only applies when Kaja the Rai is on the same team, so not only is he kind of weird in the first place, to kind of fully unlock his kit, you have to have some other Lego that I'll never have. So it's like, it's kind of like the whole kit and the synergy with some other Lego that I'll never have is kind of like the signature calling card of I don't care about this fusion. Um, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the game is about having fun. And if you think this is a champ that looks cool, or if you see a use case for him on your account, like, yes, absolutely, you should totally go for him. I support you in it. I don't see it for me. And then he has increased accuracy, but even his aura is really weak. Like, increased accuracy by 50 on a Lego, like, that's terrible. Because, like, I was looking at it and I was like, that's terrible. And so I went and I looked, and it is terrible. Like, you know, you can get better accuracy on any of these other Legos. Like, for example, his is 50, right? You could get 40 on Vogoth. So 50 on a Lego is like very bad. The only other Lego who has 50 is Archbishop Pinthroy, who I would argue, you know, is a much better champion, period. And you know, it's not like these champions are hard to get either. Like, I mean, Drexstar Blood Twin with the 70, you know, anybody can get him through the tag team fragments. You know, Mithrala's got the 80, you know, everybody will get her eventually through Hydra. So yeah, even just, you know, Aura alone is weak. And then yeah, the whole thing is just a bit weird for me. So with all that said, I'm not going for him, but you know, for me that's like a good thing because hey, I'm saving the time and the resources. So they could release, you know, 20 terrible fusions in a row and I don't really care. Doesn't affect me, you know. If people want to go for it or not go for it, they should do it, and I'll just keep doing my thing. But you guys let me know. Oh, and the other thing is, sometimes the timing of the fusion just works out, right? Like maybe you plan to do a bunch of the events anyway. Like maybe they did a summoning event. Like I remember, I actually, I know she's terrible, and I haven't even summoned her from the fragments yet. But I actually did the cow, Loriaka Greathuff, because it was during the Demitha Guaranteed event where it was like 25 voids for Demitha. So I did pull 25 voids, you know, and easily completed like the summoning events during that. So I just went ahead and did her because, you know, like I said, the summoning events are the ones that are the worst events for me. So since I was already doing it, I was kind of like, whatever, I'll just do it. Yeah, so sometimes the timing just works out and you end up doing a fusion that isn't amazing or that you don't really have an intention of using. So I know, like, my friend is working through the Halloween event to get those rewards, and so he's doing this also because a lot of the events are sort of overlapping and having rewards for both. But that is my thoughts, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for hanging out. Take care.